It is Friday, the 27th of September, and in under 2 hours, I'm going to be getting in a car and driving down to London for the London Grand Tournament. Really excited about this one. It's a great event. The 40k event that I typically go to is going to be about 800, 900 40k players there. There's going to be a whole lot of other games. I get to see a lot of my friends that I haven't caught up with in a little while. But most importantly, there's a 48-player Old World GT that I will be attending. You might notice I'm a little bit more disheveled than normal, and that is because I was up late last night painting. I got up early to paint, and I still have some painting to do, and packing, and everything else. But it's fine. I'll be done, even if I have to dry brush in the car. Coming into LGT, there's been a couple of interesting FAQ choices made. The first one being that if there's a vortex on the board, if you move over the vortex, you take the damage from it. Also, the Green Knight can pop in from hills. Those are the two big things, and they are fairly big, and unfortunately came in after I locked my list in, so that might have changed how I decided to build things, but we've got what we've got. We'll see how it goes, and we can talk about that after the fact. Coming into this weekend, we now have the round one pairings, and as with every event in the old world that I've attended, I'm playing against Richy. This time I've got him round one, and we are playing on Breakpoint, which is an interesting map. I'm not going to go too deep into my tactical decision making for this game. I have got a bit of a plan, but I know Richie's probably going to watch this before we play, so I've got to keep that tight to my chest. I'll talk about it after the fact. So let's walk through the list, some of the list decisions that I've made, why I made them, how we ended up here. So the list is probably the most spammy list I've had pointed out to me. So there are 3 units of 3 Dark Riders, 3 units of 3 Shades, a unit of Cold One Knights, a Sorceress, and a Dreadlord, both on dragons. Not a lot to sort of break down there, but to go from top to bottom, I had a couple of different list setups that I wanted to play around with. I really liked a suggested build for the Dreadlord by, I think it was Wooter, who said put in the Axe of Spell Eating, which is a 35-point magic weapon, strength user, AP -1, but it's magic resist 2. I was thinking, cool, I'll just let the Black Dragon do the vast majority of the heavy lifting. And then, you sort of build around that. It's a 35-point magic item, so you've got to cut points elsewhere. Played with it for a couple of games, found that my output was anemic. Honestly, I was not impressed by the output of the Dreadlord. So I've changed it around. I've gone back to going for a fairly standard loadout. I've got the Pendant of Caleth, which is a 5-up ward or a 4-up ward if you're being targeted by something strength 5 or higher. Sucks to be you, Richy. That's going to come in handy. Then there's the Great Weapon, Sea Dragon Cloak, Shield. That's about it. So basically, I've got a 2-up save against non-magical shooting, a 3-up save against magical shooting, and then a 4-up save in combat where I'm going to be using my Great Weapon. I can, of course, go Hand Weapon Shield, but just kill them first. Something important to remember. Elves have strike first, or elf lords have strike first, which means despite the fact I am running a great weapon, I'm still going to be hitting a high initiative at my, strength 6, AP 2, armor bane 1. So feeling pretty good about that. Second up, I've got the Sorceress on Dragon. This is a non-optimal choice. However, as I've said multiple times, I've been a good boy. I've played the edition without playing any dragons. I've learned how to play. Then I've gone and done some stupid stuff with skirmishes, which is very fun. But now I want to play some dragons, and I'm going to play 2 dragons, and I'm very excited to do that. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to play a double dragon list. However, next weekend, I'm going to play a more optimal version of the list, so we'll get into that one down the line. But for this weekend, second dragon, Supreme Sorceress, level 4, Tome of Furin, which gives me a 5th spell. I'm going for a Talisman of Protection for a 5-up ward, just important to have on something as big as a dragon. Then I've got 2 Focus Familiars to go with my battle magic. Why have I done this? Well, I'm going to roll into Pillar of Fire every game. Don't worry about it. The fact that there's a 1 in 6 chance that I could fail to do so, just ignore it. I'm going to roll it every time. Then I've got 2 Focus Familiars. The way these work is you pick a point within 12 inches and before casting your spell. You cast the spell, and if it goes off, you basically use that point to cast from. What this means is turn 1, I can put a Pillar of Fire 24 inches away from my deployment zone. That's pretty powerful. You can also move before you cast it, but it just means it's really hard to interact with. You also, I've double-checked with the TO, and the way that they're ruling it is that you measure for dispel from the model that's casting it. I think that's how most places play it, but it's just nice to have that clarification in. So, turn 1, I'm going to Pillar of Fire. Job's a good one. What could possibly go wrong? Into the core, I've managed to get that sweet 500 points exactly. I've got 3 units of Dark Riders. All of them have repeater crossbows and shields. Shields are only a point. I think it's worth going from that 6-up save to a 5-up save when, the unit's costing 150 or 170 points for 8 models. They've also got cavalry spears inbuilt, but importantly, 2 of the units have scout and also fire and flee. 1 unit has neither of these rules because it's capped at 1 per 1,000 points. That's why I've only taken it once per 1,000 points. These are fantastic. They're very fast. They move 9. They're open order. They're skirmish, so you can pick how you want to use them. They've got cavalry spears, so they punch an okay. They're not great in combat, but if you need to kill something small and you don't want to risk, say it's a skirmishing unit and you're like, oh, well, I've moved already, or I'd have to move to get into range, to close range, or take stacking penalties, I don't want to risk shooting them, just charge them. Jobs are good. That'll be all fine there. Into the special, I've got 3 Ints of Shades. 1 unit does have veteran, just on the basis of I had 5 points spare, and you've got to spend them somewhere. You can't have a 1995 point list. So they're all equipped with just hand weapons and repeater crossbows. They are more small skirmishing units than I've been testing. I was starting out with a 12, an 8, and an 8. Obviously been playing a lot of skirmishes when I've been playing the Skaven list. Shade's not as good as Gutter Runners, just straight up not as good. They're still pretty fine, and they're quite cheap. 75 points for 5 is not an expensive break the bank cost, but I didn't want to go too heavy into them, so just keeping it at 3 units of 5. They are scouts inherently. They've got great rules. They've got evasive. It's hard to interact with them as long as you play with them quite occasionally, and that's my plan for them. Finally, the slightly spicy pick, which is maybe not the best one, but I enjoy it. A unit of 6 Cold One Knights. They're upgraded to have the lances, the shields, the full plate. They've got a champion who's got the Ruby Ring of Ruin. This is good. They have stupidity. They are leadership 9, and I've got a leadership 10 general, but I'm going to fail that stupidity at sometimes. You can still cast bound items if you fail your stupidity, which is weird, but it gives them a little bit of a backup in terms of what they want to do. But they've also got the Banner of Harganeth. This is another suggestion. I think this suggestion came in from more Robot Wars content. Thank you for that one. Basically, what it does is it gives you an extra pip of AP on all your attacks. Takes your Lancers to AP3, which is fine. But more importantly, it takes the 2 attacks that the Cold One themselves actually have, which is Strength 4, Armor Bane 1, and it makes them Strength 4, AP 1, Armor Bane 1. That's quite a big difference. Should really help with output when I'm trying to chew through something that's, hard to deal with. Maybe loads of skeletons, or maybe just going into, other knights, that sort of thing. So what's the general premise of the list? Well, it's kind of a points denial list. I've got 1,000 points tied up in 2 characters, which is obviously fantastic. It's hard to deal with. They can be fast. I've got potential for arcane urgency to double move them. Very hard to pin down a couple of dragons unless you're playing a really strong shooting list. Glad I'm playing against Richy, but we'll get to that in a second. Everything else, apart from the Cold One Knights, is skirmish. Gives me a lot of flexibility with how I move around the map. And most things in my list have scout. This is a 3-drop list. I've gone up from 2 because I wanted to put the cold ones in. This is a 3-drop list. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to deploy 1 squad of Dark Riders, the one without upgrades. I'm going to deploy 1 squad of Cold One Knights. Then I'm going to deploy 2 Dragons. Then everything else is in Scouts. Again, LGT have clarified for this event that they are not treating Scouts as a drop for the +1. Most of the events that I've seen are playing it this way, but I know there is some back and forth on this issue. So I'm going to be putting 3 drops down. I'm going to be getting the +1 to the roll-off, I believe, most games, if not every game. Having a quick flick through the list, I can't see anything else that's got 3 or fewer drops, so feeling pretty good about that. And the maths on that's really important because you have a greater than 2/3 chance of going first if you have the +1. So most of the time, I feel like I'm going to be going first. My drops will be down first. I'll be going first, and it's just going to feel solid. Over to Richy's list then, because he's my round 1 opponent. He has a list that I didn't want to have to play against with this list, so we'll see how this one goes. But he's got the standard BSB Thane, Rune of Grungy, Rune of Battle, Rune of Courage. So he's got, I believe the Rune of Courage is something like rerolls against Terror or something like that. That's the one that doesn't ring a bell immediately. But got a 5-up ward, got the +1 combat res from the Rune of Battle, Master Rune of Gromil and the Rune of Preservation means that it's basically a 2-up rerollable save. He's got a 5-up ward from the Master and a Grungy, very difficult to kill. This is something that could challenge out my dragon, and it wouldn't beat it, but the unit would beat the uncombat res, so I need to be aware of that. And if I want to charge this unit, I need to charge with 2 dragons. That's going to be important. Then there is a Thane. This is the Thane of Bursting Flame. This is the one that you expect to see. Accuracy, rapid fire, Bursting Flame, 2 shots, hitting on 3s all of the time. If they hit, 2d3 auto hits, strength 4, AP 1. Really solid. Armor Bane 1 as well. Then we've got an Anvil of Doom, 310 points. This has got a Rune of Preservation and 2 runes of Spell Breaking, which I think is interesting. I'm not necessarily planning on ever having my spellcaster in range to be able to be dispelled, but we'll see. I'll have to play around that one. Then there's also Burlock Daminson. Burlock is quite strong. Obviously, there's some synergy with Thunderers, as you can see in this list. I believe the way that he's going to run it is he's going to put it in the ranges, but keep Burlock in range of both his artillery and the Thunderers to be able to give them that reroll potential. So Burlock, general, something that I could potentially get in and eat, which I'm quite excited to do because that's some easy points. And there's not a lot of easy points in a dwarf list. Into Court, there's a unit of 19 rangers. They are fully upgraded. The only thing that I don't love about these is the command. I don't know where I fall on those, although they don't have a champion in there, which I do like. I prefer for big units, big monsters, not to be able to challenge out. You want to be getting all 19 of those great weapon attacks into the opponent if a dragon is foolish enough to charge, which I might well be. There's also a unit of 16 Thunderers, great weapons, shields, handguns. I'm not super sold on these, but Richy is the dwarf expert. I'm going to bow to his knowledge on this, and I'm going to be really sad when he shoots me out of the sky with them. Special units, couple of cannons. One's got a rune of forging, one doesn't have a rune. This is a spicy choice from Richy. I don't agree. I think he's going to want to go back to grudge throwers pretty soon. From speaking to him, I think that's probably the case. But he's trying new things, and I respect that. And then finally, into rare, he's got a unit of 19 Iron Drakes. These are, again, upgraded as you might expect. Drilled. They've got the Drake guns. They've got the champion who's got the Trollhammer Torpedo and Cinderblast bombs. There's a Standard Bearer with the Master Rune of Hesitation. I really want to be getting rid of those charge bonuses, and a Musician as well. This is probably where the BSB is going to be going. This is going to be a static combat rares of Closer Order, Standard, BSB, Rune of Battle. So static res of 4, which means that even with a dragon, especially if it's the Sorceress on dragon, I don't feel comfortable getting more combat res than him into that really hard as nails battle standard bearer. So it's quite a good defense. It's a lot of guns, basically. Every model in this list has some sort of ranged output, so quite concerned about that. There's the BSB. Every other model in this list has some ranged output. But I think this is a really interesting list. I wish I wasn't playing against Richy just on the basis that we play every time we go to an event. However, it'll be a lot of fun. It'll be a nice way to start off the weekend. And I am planning on doing some event vlogging. So obviously going to be great to have Richy on camera again with me. Finally, I did do a live stream on Wednesday. I've taken that down now because I wanted to use the footage from it for this. But at the end of the live stream, I did do a chunk of just talking about the lists that were there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut that out, put this at the end of the video. If you're interested in my thoughts on some of the lists in there, I was talking to chat about them. People were recommending that I look at specific lists, talk about them, just go through the main hitters, the Bretonnians, the Tomb Kings, the Warriors of Chaos, and then I picked out some other ones. There was some Beastmen and some other bits and pieces in there, Dark Elves as well. Hope you enjoy. High Priest level 4 Elementalism. Elementalism, that's an interesting choice for Tomb Kings. Tomb King, Bone Dragon, Armor of Ages, sort of striking. Sort of striking. That's such an uncommon item that I don't... I was going to type remember. Let's have a look here. Sort of striking. I think it's like +1 to hit or something like that. But like no strength bonus or no AP bonus. Yeah, Oliver, that's one of the 2 lists I've looked at, the All Trees Wood Elves list, but we can have a proper look at that one. Yeah, +1 to hit for the Sword of Striking. I wonder... He's got a flail as well. Oh, no, he's got a flail as well. This poor guy's bought a magic item thinking that it's going to affect his or like doesn't realize he has to use it instead of this sword. That's a bummer. Big brick of warriors, Nicarian flanks, archers, horse archers, skeleton chariots, horse archers, a shabti with great bows. I really like those. Tomb scorpions, necropolis knights, casket of souls, necrosphinx. Yeah, I mean, apart from the odd character loadout, I do quite like that. There's stuff in there that looks solid. I think it's interesting because with Old World, it's harder to write, I think, a very good list, and it's harder to write a very bad list. Things, because there's no sort of, you've got to just take units that are good standing on objectives. It's yeah, all right. Someone's just said, Pip's just said there's 3 wacky Wood Elf lists. So we're going to look at all of the Wood Elves. That's Warriors of Chaos. So Wood Elves, Chris Hale, Wood Elves, Fraser Lowry, Wood Elves, Mark Kirkham, Wood Elves. Go from the bottom. Scott Seckold. It's a satisfying name to say out loud. Oh, Nicholas. Hell yeah. I played Nicholas at my last event. He was playing not Wood Elves. He was playing Nomadic War. Mark Crawford. All right. So we're going to start off with this one. This is my absolute favourite Wood Elf list. I've only looked at one, but it is my favourite. So Dream and Ancient, level 4 wizard, 2 of them. One of them is a general. Both of them have battle magic. Get that hammer hand in because Dream and Ancients just need something, really. Branch Wraith, level 2. I don't love the Branch Wraith. I guess it's another chance of getting a Pillar of Fire, which is fine. But, I mean, this is a more thematic list anyway, so it's okay. Glaive Guard with a Burning Blade on the Lord's Bowman. I guess 5 points to get you over the minimum core. That's fine. Dryads. Treekin, Tree Man. This is just wood. Like, got wood? Yeah, absolutely. I'd quite like to play against this. Matt's is horrible. All right, let's have a look. So Matt must be Matt Crawford. So Matt has got Glade Lord, Moonfire Shot. Okay, fair enough, that's fine. Forest Dragon, Talisman, Ogre Blade, Befuddlement. So this is like the Dragon Lord, the one that you might expect to see. Spellweaver, level 4, Oakenstave, Ruby Ring, Battle Magic. Yep, again, that's fine. Spellslinger, level 2, Battle Magic, Lore Familiar. Yep, that's correct. So that's the maximum chance of fireballs, Pillar of Flames that you can get while also taking a dragon. Core units, 7 Glade Guard, 8 Deepwood Scouts, 8 Deepwood Scouts, all with Hagbane Tips, 5 Glade Guard, Glade Riders. I like units of slightly bigger than 5, I think, because you're going to use them as your bunker for your characters. So there's a lot of non-line of sight shooting that's coming up at this event, I think. So that's something I'm a little concerned about for the Wood Elf players. Only 2 Sister of the Thorn and then a Tree Man. That's like a toned down version of like the maximum you could take. I think I'd like to see. I like 8 for the Deepwood Scouts. I'd like to see the Glade Riders go up in size. Maybe go to 7s if you're bunkering a character in them, or maybe even bigger. You've got to assume we're getting a Forest Sprites themed Arcane Journal for Wood Elves. That kind of just had the game. Yeah, I'm really hoping so. I really like Wood Elves. One of my favourite armies from back in there. So hopefully we do see those. Nicholas. There is a general on Dragon with Meteoric Iron, Talisman of Protection, Annoyance of Netlings, Befuddlement of Mischief, and a Great Weapon. Yep, this is the budget version. I really like it. It's tankier. You know, it's got a guaranteed 5 up, and then still got the challenge things. This is gonna be really difficult for me to play against if we match up. I don't know what I do against that. Level 2, level 4, same setup, Resplendent of Luminescence. I'm not sure what that does. Maybe it's -1 to be shot, something like that. 5 scouts, 5 guard, 5 guard, and then 7 Glade Riders, and then Sister of the Fawn. Yeah, this is a very good list. This is going to be unpleasant to play against. This, so like in terms of lists, this is one of the best lists at the tournament. I've looked at like 4 lists, and this is one of the best. This is like the theoretical maximum you can get when you're looking at Wood Elves. So good job, Nicholas. You've written a truly, truly horrifying list. We've got Scott Seckold, Dreadlord. What do we got here? We've gone for the Killy version. Ogre Blade, Talisman of Protection, Befuddlement, and Annoyance. I don't know which way I prefer, whether I like them tanky or whether I like them hitty. Hard to say. Spellweaver and a Waystalker. Oh, hell yeah. So the level 4 is set up, the correct setup. Waystalker is interesting. Arcane Bodkins for ignoring, I think, is that ignore cover penalty? Something like that. Glade Guard, Glade Riders, Glade Guard, Scouts. All right, I hate this. This really gets on my nerves. They've not done anything wrong, but like I hate looking at it where you go like I've got 2 of the same unit, but they're split up by something else. 7, yep, that's good. You put a character in, you've got 8. They're less likely to run away. Yada yada. Wild Riders, Banner of the Hunter King. That sounds something I should check. I'm assuming it's like Frenzy or additional AP or no, they have Frenzy already. Banner of the Hunter King. Let's see. All right, Banner of the Hunter King. Vanguard. Ooh, we do a Stan of Vanguard. Why am I closing that down? I should leave it open. Also, a Vanguard. Yeah, there's nothing saying you can't get within 12 inches. That unit's here to fuck. Wild Riders get so many attacks. I think it's 4 attacks on the charge because they have Frenzy, Furious Charge, and 2 attacks base. But they're all also made out of tissue paper, so yeah. Like this unit is a very easy 214 points for me to pick up with my list, I think. Deepwood Scouts, Eagle. Oh, okay. That's something Nicholas was missing. He doesn't have any Great Eagles. And then 9 Way Watchers. I don't know why that's here. Other than they like them. Which, if the choice is I like the unit, hell yeah, love it. Big fan of that. But do they do anything that's super spicy and exciting? They've got Arcane Bodkins, Veteran Sentinel. They've got Arcane Bodkins instead of Hagbane. Everything's Arcane Bodkins. This is an interesting choice, and not one that I necessarily agree with. So Arcane Bodkins is AP2. And the Way Watchers are Ballistic Skill 5. Okay, so I can see it on them, but even still, the Poison might be better. If you want the AP, maybe do you just go Elementalism? Obviously, you lose the Pillar for that, but... I don't know. I'm not super jazzed by Way Watchers, I'll be honest. But it's cool. The only thing I'd like to see, I think, is make the unit 12 just for leadership and scoring purposes, because it's going to be quite an expensive unit. You want to not lose them accidentally. Mark Kirkham. So Mark has gone high magic. Okay. This is different. I like this. So Forest Dragon, Spear of Twilight. I know that is a weapon, but I can't remember what it is that it does. So Spear of Twilight, Strength, AP -2, Killing Blow, Magical Attacks. Always wound on 3+. It's fine. If it was also Monster Killing Blow, maybe, but because this is going to be challenging big things, right? How often is the Killing Blow going to matter? I guess this could be like anti-Bretonnian tech. Maybe this is anti-Bretonnian tech, actually. So then we've got a high magic level 4 with the Oaken Stave. Here's my issue with that. I think there are spells that you really don't want on that caster. I think you probably want to... I think you need a Lore Familiar, but then you also need Oaken Stave, which is maybe why we don't see high magic. This is interesting. This is interesting. We're going to see... There's going to be games where you roll Ethereal and Reserve Move. Not that you need it, because you're going to go in the Glade Riders who have Reserve Move. But you're going to roll the Ethereal and then just not be able to be interacted with, and you can just play really aggressively up with your Oaken Stave. That's interesting. A couple of Waystalkers. Swift Shiver Shards. That's an additional like multi-shot 2. All right. Maybe. Sure. It's a lot of points for just like a crap shot. Glade Riders, 12 Deepwood Scouts, hell yeah, love me some multiples of 4. Eternal Guard, that's interesting. I don't know why they're here. I really don't know why they're here. Who's this? Mark Kirkham. I'll have to see if I can ask him. So Mark's playing double Waystalker with Swift Shiver Shards, which is literally just you make an additional attack, right? There's not anything that's better than that. Let's have a look here. Swift Shiver. So he's paying 94 points for 2 shots on like a ballistic skill 7. A strength user, so strength 3 armor being 1. I don't think that's good. I think this might just be like, I like the unit choice, which, fair. I can't argue with that. I like the MSU here. I like the 12 Deepwood Scouts, although if you're running them as a line of 12, they might be a little unwieldy, but it's not a big problem. 2 units Assist to the Thorn, very good. War Dancers, they slap hard if you can protect them. And then Warhawk Riders. I don't like Warhawk Riders. I don't think they hit hard enough at ranged or in combat. But maybe you can use them really like effectively as a skirmish piece. So maybe that's what we're getting with this list. Interesting. Maybe I'll have to talk to Mark if I see him. Fraser Lowry. So we've got a 313 point Dreadlord. That's not a dragon. So we've got here Warhawk, Ogre Blade, Talisman of Protection. Okay, so it's a budget version. That's very interesting. I think I'm very concerned about your ability to stay alive because all you've got is a Talisman of Protection and some light armor and a shield. Ooh, that's a spicy choice. This is either someone who is bringing a model that they love, in which case, again, fair play, or someone who is very, very good at positioning and is very confident that they can get the most out of this model. Pretty sure a Dreadlord, let me just double check. I'm pretty sure a Dreadlord has evasive. So that is some level of defense. Yeah, does have evasive. T3. Let's have a look at Warhawk. As a mount, you get +1 toughness and no wounds. You get no wounds for that. So you're T4 with 3 wounds. Oh, I don't even know if I'd have bothered with the Talisman of Protection, to be honest. Like, you're already so squishy that's... Yeah. Anyway, let's continue. Elementalism Caster. Not the normal choice, but I do like it. Although I would like probably the Lore Familiar, just on the basis if you really want that Pillar of Fire. Spellsinger, Shadow Dancer, level 1. So going for the double -1 to hit. That's pretty cute. I like that. Resplendent, I'm pretty sure a Resplendent of Luminescence is... -1 to hit in combat, I think. Oh no, it's magical attacks. Okay. So he's got to join the War Dancers. So they've got magical attacks. Okay, that's fine. I don't hate that. There's a Tree Man. I do love to see a Tree Man. More Warhawk Riders. Some Treekin. Some interesting choices there. If you get time, let me know what to do versus Tomb King with my list. Pork Pie, what is your... If you want, I can have a look at your list and then we'll have a look at... see what I'd recommend. I'll just have a quick look at the last 2 here. So Andrew's we already looked at. Andrew's incredible. 4 Tree Men, and then 6 Treekin, and then loads of Dryads, 28 Dryads. Huge fan of that, Andrew. MVP already for me. Hopefully, it's like a really cool hobby project. I'm looking forward to seeing those. Chris Hale, Great Stag, here we go. So Great Stag, Spear of Twilight, Talisman Protection, and then the standard Annoyance and Befuddlement. Yeah, that's fine. What save do you get up to? You get a 5-up, 4-up, I think? A 4-up and a 5-up ward? Yeah. Elementalism with Power Scroll, Ruby Ring of Ruin, Oaken Stave. It's wild that you've gone for a Power Scroll, but you're rolling your spells in Elementalism. I like Power Scrolls. I think people should take them more, but it's an interesting choice. And then another level 1 Illusion Shadow Dancer with, again, a Power Scroll, a Lore Familiar. Oh, okay. Right. So Shadow Dancer. I need to not put an E on the end of Shadow Dancer. So while that's loading, Chris Hale. Chris, you're my favourite person. So what we've got here is a Shadow Dancer who has these two rules, the Spear of Leok and Trickster's Blades. So what's he equipped with? He's equipped with Spear. So Spear is Strength +1, AP -1, Armor Bane 2, Killing Blow. Okay, so like Killing Blow is pretty cool. Then you've also got the Troubadour of Leok special rule here. No, Dancers of Leok. Here we go. So this is, you pick one of these. Every model in the unit gets to pick one of these. So you can get extra attacks, you can get a ward save, you can get -1 to hit, or you can get an additional AP2. And this is the one that I'm really excited about for this combo. So you've got a Spear of Leok that's now Strength 4. What do they start at? Oh no, so he's Strength 5 and he's AP3. He only has 3 attacks in his profile, but that's okay. He's got Furious Charge, gets up to 4. And he is a level 1 wizard with a Lore Familiar to take the whatever the assailment's called, Spectral Doppelganger, and a Power Scroll. This guy's going to just, like, once per game, going to go in, and he's going to be like, I'm going to hit you so hard with 3 attacks plus 2d6 auto hits, Strength 5, AP3, Killing Blow. That's really cool. Like, it's super expensive. I don't think it's worth the points, but it's really cool. I love that. Fred says the stag gets it to 3 up armor. Okay, 3. I actually like a 3 up armor better. Yeah. Cool. What's the rest of the list? So Deepwood Scouts, yep, cool. Hagbane Tips, that's the correct choice, isn't it? Glade Guard, Fire and Flee, it's just a good rule. Wild Riders, I like Wild Riders. I'm really looking forward to doing Wood Elves when their Arcane Journal comes out. I really like them. I really want to do a Forest Spirit army. That speaks to me. And then Double Treemen. I wonder if there are more Treemen than dragons at the event. That can't be right. I'll do some maths. Yeah, Double Treemen. That's really cool. So just a really fun list here. War Dancers with additional hand weapons, just the right choice as well. Yeah. No, this is an awesome list. I really like it. There's some like interesting choices in here. Elementalism and just dry rolling spells makes me a little uncomfortable, but yeah, I like that. So, Pork Pie, you are Dan W, Warriors of Chaos. Let's have a look at your list. Let's see what we're talking. Dan Whitfield. All right, what do we got? So, you've called it the beef. You're off to a great start. Fantastic, good job. Chaos Lord, Flail, Full Plate, Shield, Mark of Chaos, Nurgle. Yep, that's good. Dragon, Talisman of the Carrion Crow. Actually, can't remember what that does off the top of my head. I think it's one of the new ones, right? Yeah, Arcane Journal. Regen 5 and poison attacks. Okay, yeah, that's fair. It is just a straight upgrade over the regular regen item. So if you want to go for that, then fair. Healing Potion, Enchanting Aura. Okay, so this is the defensive loadout. That is going to be a nightmare to deal with. Sorcerer Lord, 330 points on foot, Infernal Puppet, Ruby Ring, Spell Familiar, Battle Magic. Yeah, that's... So this is a very standard sort of setup for characters. All makes sense there. 2 units of 8 Forsaken, 8 are fantastic numbers. I like those. You've got some Marauder Horsemen with Flails, Mark of Corn. I absolutely love that. I really, really like those units. Chaos Warhounds are fantastic. They've got Vanguard, a single Dragon Ogre, and then a Warpfire Dragon, who's level 2 with Battle Magic. That's interesting. Why do you go for Battle Magic? Just out of curiosity. I don't think it's wrong. I think you've just got to roll into it. Are you going for the Hammerhand? While I'm waiting for you to answer, Matt says, isn't this the Linehammer guys list? Someone told you it was. Who are we talking about? I assume you're not talking about this list here, the Warriors of Chaos. Are you talking about the Wood Elf list, who I think was Chris Hale? Yeah, are you talking about Chris's list? So, what would we do? What would we do here into Tomb Kings? I think you've just got to go. Honestly, the problem with Tomb Kings is they're going to outrange you. The Chaos Lord is reasonably vulnerable to the casket if they've got double casket and they've got necromancy casters. You're in for a world of hurt. So you just got to get up there fast. Sorcerer Lord's good as well. If you can get this model up the field, you're going to need to Arcane Urgency it. Honestly, turn 1, if I'm playing against Tomb Kings, I might be tempted to march forwards in my unit and then Arcane Urgency forwards as well, because you can march and cast Conveyance spells. The reason for that is if you can shut down your opponent's casting, that's probably the best way to play into I'm talking about Mortuary Cult, obviously, and it also sets you up to be Pillar of Fire range next turn potentially as well. The downside is it doesn't make bound spells cast at 3d6 drop the highest, so it doesn't really do all that much against the output, but it does help shut down the hexes that the Tomb Kings can stack on you. Casting values of Battle Magic are lower. Hammerhand is useful. Yeah, that's super fair. And you might get a Pillar of Fire. You might get a Fireball. You might get a 5-up ward. I like Battle Magic. I think the obvious choice, if you want consistency, is Demonology for the 18-inch magic missile. But I also don't hate that you've got just a solid lore in general. Obviously, I think Battle Magic's very good. Yeah, no, that's cool. I think full send is the answer, and just hope that they can't pick you off before you do your thing. Corthan says, I was the only Wood Elf player at a 2,500 point event in the US over the past weekend. Feels weird. Yeah, it's really hard to get hold of Wood Elves. So depending on what people have for old collections and whether you have access to 3D printing, I'm not actually super impressed by any of the Wood Elf 3D sculpts. I don't love them. So that's one of the things that's put me off. Let's have a look at Tomb Kings next. I think that'd be interesting. Tomb Kings. Jack Negus. Jacob Lowe. Jamie Balcom. Jamie's very good. He's a very solid 40k player. Although I think he's pretty much moved away from 40k to come join us in the old world. All right. Your Tomb King list is on page 2. Let's start there. Tomb prints on foot, glittering scales. All right. I'm going to have to immediately look this up. Glittering scales. Let's have a look here. Okay. 35 points for that. Seems steep. Guess it shuts down Killing Blow. And it is the general, so it is something there. High Priest on foot. Lord Familiar, Flying Carpet, Necromancy. Yep, I like that a lot. That's really good. Mortuary Priest, Necromancy, Ruby Ring Rune. Love it. Royal Herald, BSB, Warding Splint. Warding Splint is... Armor of Ages Light. Yeah, that's fair. How much is the Armor of Ages? Is it quite heavy? Yes, Warding Splint. Heavy armor that also gives you a 5-up save. I really like that item. Armor of Ages. Let's have a look here. 50 points. Yeah. Fair. Archers, Skeleton Chariots with the Death Mask. That sounds to me like it causes terror. Hell yeah, it does. Raise the standard for those additional pips of AP. That's quite cute on all the impact hits that you'll be doing. I like that. And then more Chariots, then Horse Archers, Tomb Guard. I just like Tomb Guard. I think they're great. Necropolis Knights with a great weapon. Hell yeah. Tomb Scorpion, Screaming Skull, Catapult, and Casket of Souls. Yeah, I like the Casket and the Screaming Skull combo. I think... Can you fit... Okay, so you can't fit 2 catapults and 2 caskets in. That would be that'd be a little bit too much. But yeah, no, that looks solid. Interesting choice not to go with the dragon. Was that just so you could fit more stuff in, basically? Was that what you were going with? Because you have got a lot of units in there, so you get to play the MSU. Well, not even MSU, but you get to have more impactful units. Interesting. Like it. What else we got? Nav Hussein, Tomb King on a War Sphinx. All right. Need to make sure that I'm not remembering this wrong, because I don't necessarily see any reason to do it. But, I mean, hell, it's a cool model. Oliver says, we find that putting all your eggs in one basket doesn't work that well for me. Yeah, that's super fair. So Lewis is a really good example of someone who plays less standard lists, but plays in a way that suits him, and he has loads of success. Like, if he goes to a 40k GT, his like floor is a 4-1, or if he's at teams, he's probably going 5-0. Did the last, I think, 2 times he went to a teams event. So, like, when you know what your play style is, it's just really valuable to lean into it. Horse archers come up the board, make it easy to bunker, or rush up as a gun line. Hell yeah! Keep telling me all your plans, because we might end up playing. You've been to a few of the TSN Arena events as well, haven't you? I think I've seen you, but haven't actually talked to you. I'll try and make an effort to say hi next time I see you. What have we got here? So the War Sphinx. It is a behemoth. It's got a 5-up save, so already not loving that. T6, 5 wounds, so getting you up to 8. Initiative 1's very funny to me. It doesn't matter, but it's so funny. Wicked Claws, which I'm assuming are just the standard AP2. Yeah, that's fine. Then you've got Tomb Guard on top, so you've got 2 attacks. How many points is it? That's the thing that I'm missing. I guess it's not that many points because it's a 437. Sort of my Armor of Ages. I think you could have had this loadout on a dragon and not pay much more. So I think this must be a case of Nav just likes the Tomb King on War Sphinx model, or has it already. Which, fair. I can't argue with that. It does look pretty baller. High Priest, level 4, Elementalism, Arcane Familiar. Arcane Familiar? For a second law. I am not hot on the Arcane Familiar, but Ramsey is, so I should probably give it a second look. You came second the last one on the similar list. Yes, yeah, you did. Congratulations on that. Yeah, so Skeleton Archers. That's a lot of archers without poison. There's no poison in this list, is there? Huh. This is an interesting choice because it's a huge unit of skeletons that can teleport around using the Elementalism caster, but they don't have poison, which is why I'd assume they're in. All right, fair. Skeleton Chariot with the Obsidian Lodestone for a little bit of magic resist. Scorpion time 3. 5 Necropolis Knights. That's beefy. And then double Necrosphinx. Okay. This is less standard, but I think, yeah, it's just like a list that wants to hit you pretty hard. I think most things are just going to move forwards, basically. Yeah, I guess the High Priest is bunkered in with the Skeleton Archers and then just teleports around shooting at things. Interesting. What else we got? Jamie's list will be good. So we're looking at Mortuary Cult here. High Priest level 4 Illusion, High Priest level 4 Necromancy. The level 4 on Illusion is on Bone Dragon, Lore Familiar, Serpent Staff, Talisman of Protection. This is fun. So the Serpent Staff is basically a great weapon with poison. I think it might only be AP1. Serpent Staff. And again, it's Spectral Doppelganger. That's what Jamie's going for here. Which is, I don't think, the best way to play Tomb Kings, but I think it's the most fun way to play Tomb Kings. No, it's Strength 2, AP 2, Magic Attacks, Poison Attacks, requires 2 hands. 20 points. What a great magic weapon. If only you could take it if you weren't a Lich Priest. So, yeah, got an absolute baller here. It's only T5, but it does have, 5-up regen. It's got a 5-up ward. Still got a 4-up armor save from the Necrolith Bone Dragon, so that's fine. Ruby Ring of Ruin on the Necromancy caster, and then a level 1 Necromancy Battle Standard Bearer as well. This is really nice. The way the Mortuary Cults interact by having multiple casters is they buff their resing. If you're within command range of another priest, you add 1 to how many wounds you heal. So just having that there is good. And also BSB is not bad at all. Loads of Horse Archers, some Skeleton Skirmishers. So 2 squads of Horse Archers, 2 squads of Skirmishers, 1 squad of Skeletons with a War Banner, just as a static combat res brick. That's cute. A Sharp 2 with Great Bows, who are just very solid. Tomb Swarms for sacrificing for wounds. Necrosphinx, Tomb Scorpion, Terrors Below, because it's really good, and then Casket and Screaming Skulls. This is a good list. This is very solid. There's an argument to be made that you just don't even go for the dragon. You just go for more stuff, and you put like an extra casket in, and maybe an extra caster. But yeah, this is really solid. Jacob Tawny. Hell yeah. High Priest, level 4, Power Scroll, or Familiar. That's a great setup there. Necromancer, you're going to get the key leadership debuff spell off before you hit him with your... Oh! He hasn't got a Casket of Souls. Never mind. Okay, cool. I mean, just Power Scroll's good in general. Mortuary Priest, level 2, Ruby Ring Ruin. Yep, that's fine. Herald, BSB. Amulet of the Serpent. I think that might be... the poison. Amulet of the Serpent. Yep, there we go. Poison attack special roll. So that's going to go in this massive unit of 40 skeleton archers. What's interesting, there's no elementalism caster to Plague of Rust and teleport it around the board. But yeah, no, that's this is going to be scary. I hope I play against Jacob. I think because I've got a 2-up save on my my Dreadlord, I'd be pretty happy to go into this. Is it a BSB? So it's a BSB. There's no additional. So you've got a static combat res of 1. Sure, there's not even that much static combat res. Yeah, I think my Dreadlord would be happy going into that. Big unit of warriors. Yep, that's fine. A unit of Tomb Guard as well with the War Banner. Sure. A couple of Tomb Scorpions because they're just real good, and a Necrosphinx. I hope when I play against the Tomb Kings, I get the lists that don't have the Screaming Skulls and the Casket of Souls. I hope I don't have to play against those. But I probably will. Just on odds. Jack Negus. Tomb Kings, Mortuary Cult. I just want to see Mortuary Cult lists. I think that's the best way to play them. Necromancy, Lore Familiar, Talisman, Ruby Ring. So this is a more standard setup, I think, for a High Priest on Dragon. It's more about getting your spells off and having a big command range and all of the good things that come with that. Level 2 Mort Priest, Amulet of the Serpent, Battle Standard Bearer, Illusion Caster. Interesting that there's not a second High Priest. That's an interesting choice. Core is a couple of Necroserpents, 3 Bow Shabti, 3 Tomb Swarms, some Skeletons. Huh. Okay, so in the Skeleton Skirmishes, that's where the Warbows are. Missed that for some reason. Cool, yeah, sweet. So again, 20 poison shots coming out. Team Scorpions. Yep, that's fine. Necrosphinx, Casket, Screaming Skull, Screaming Skull. This is pretty terrifying. So I guess the cuts that Jack's made is less in here, so you can take more in here while still having a Necrosphinx and 2 Tomb Scorpions. All right, this feels like a pretty good list. This is pretty tuned, I think. I like it. Bryn Owen Conway. Hell yeah. Mortuary Cult, triple High Priest. So there's a Cloak of the Dunes, Necromancy. There's an Illusion Caster with Lore Familiar, so that will be able to fly around. Basically, Illusion and Necromancy both have a spell that lets you fly as an individual character. So this caster's got it already. These two are just going to either like roll it or pick it with Lore Familiar and fly around. 3 level 4s is so cheap. 620 points there is wild. Then we've got some Horse Archers, Skirmishers, Tomb Swarms, 7 Ushabti. 7 Ushabti. That is wild. Okay, that's interesting. So Ushabti, we've talked about bows a little bit, but let's just do it properly. So Ushabti, they have Arrows of Asf, which means that they always hit on their ballistic skill, which is a 3. And they also have great bows. Here we go. 30-inch range, Strength 6, AP 1, Armor Bane 2, Multiple Wounds 2. That is a spicy little meatball there. There's going to be a lot of shooting going in to threatening dragons. I guess because you're hitting on 4s and wounding on 4s, dragons aren't super concerned. But it's some good output. There's a lot of things that are going to be worried by that. You can really threaten war machines with that, actually. Long range, multiple wounds 2. You're probably only going to be wounding on 5s, but you only need 2 to go through. So a lucky roll, you probably get them. That's interesting. That is interesting. So going down, there's 2 Tomb Scorpions, tunes of... Oh god, this guy's running so many Shop D. Oh, this is going to be really painful to play against. I think if I have to play against this list, my Sorceress has to hide behind a building for the entire game, because otherwise she's going to be taking 13 shots, so 6.5 hits, which becomes 3.25 wounds, AP1, so I save one of those. So, okay, it's not actually as bad as I thought. I'm taking like 2 to 3 wounds a turn on average, but the spike could be absolutely lethal. Yeah. All right, so loads of those, and then double Casket Souls. This is a list. Bryn knows what he's doing. This is pretty terrifying. I think there are 2 more. High Priest, level 4 Necrolith, Bone Dragon, Dragon Slaying Sword, and Illusion. I don't like this combo. People do it. I don't like it. I don't think it's worth going for. I'm going to lose a dragon to it this event. Now that I've said that out loud, I know. I've got... then there's also a Mortuary Priest and a Tomb Prince. Icon of Rulership. I think that is a res item. Icon of Rulership. Chariot only, 3-6. So it's basically a heavy chariot without becoming a heavy chariot, so you can join into a unit. Okay, that's fair. That's fine. And then there's some chariots, some horse archers, some skirmishers, some archers, Necropolis Knights. Here we go. Interesting. Double Screaming Skull Catapult and a Necrosphinx. And this is... It says Large Golden Tomb. I guess it's Grand Army. This is an interesting list. I don't know how I feel about this. Hard to evaluate on paper. This would be an interesting one to play against, although I don't really want to, now that I've seen this and made statements about how I think it's a bad combination. But yeah, okay. I'll have to check that one out. AJ Barr, also playing Tomb Kings, a level 4 Elementalism caster with Lore Familiar. Great. Tomb King, Flail, Bone Dragon, Armor of Ages, Talisman Protection. Oh yeah, this is the one that we looked at already, where the Sword of Striking is unfortunate. There's the big unit of Skeleton Warriors. Yeah, I don't think there was anything in here that was particularly non-standard. Lots of people running great bows. I haven't seen any of Shabti without bows, which I think is just the right choice. I really do like the bow Shabti. Okay, so we've looked at Tomb Kings as well. Let's have a quick look at Bretts, because Bretts are pretty common. So Andy, I was in a chat with a few chaps who were all playing Bretonnians. So they were doing some list testing and building together. James is one of them. What else we got over here? Tom's one of them. Andy was one of them as well. Cool. So Andy, I'm going to look at Andy's list, and then James's list is the same, so we can just put them in. Oh, he's put some lore in. He did have to rewrite this, but I'm not going to talk about that. So this is the same list as Andy's, which is here. It's just a little easier to read output-wise on Andy, so we're going to look at it this way. There's a Baron, Falconhorn, it's Exiles. Baron, Falconhorn, Frontier Axe, Virtue of Knightly Temper for additional D3 attacks and Hatred. Exile's Vow for the Veteran. Green Knight is just good. Paladin, BSB, Banner of the Lady's Grace. This is the spicy thing for this list. Basically, they were concerned about the undead matchups that they were going to be playing against. So they've put this in so that the big unit of Pegasus Knights isn't going to just fold to Caskets or to a Scream list. 9 Knights of the Realm with a War Banner, 8 Knights of the Realm, 10 Peasant Bowmen, unit of 5 Peg Knights with the Vanguard Banner. This is the unit that just does things. And then there's a unit of 4 as well that you can put something in if you want to. Depending if you can put the Paladin in there if you are not needing to lean on the Banner of Grace, or you can just not bother. And then the 2 Bombards. This is a really sort of like interesting adaptation that I haven't seen necessarily Bretonnian players go with before this point. The reason I think it's interesting is Normally, Bretonnians just want to full send towards you, but there are a lot of things in the meta that really make that difficult. Obviously, Dwarves and Tomb Kings are two armies that Bretonnians can struggle with. So, yeah, these are some adaptations to deal with that. So you're not going to ruin their leadership. And the Bombards, you can just snipe across the map. You can very comfortably kill some Caskets as well with those, or just basically anything that you point them at, because Bombards are fairly ludicrous. So, then we've got Luke Blacksill, who's got a Syrian's Locket, Grommel Great Helm, Gauntlet of the Jewel, Virtue of Heroism, Duke. Yep, that's fairly standard. That's the Killing Blow and the Monster Slayer Duke. There's a level 4 Prophetess with Battle Magic. There's a Green Knight. There's a Paladin with a War Banner. Virtue of Confidence. I actually don't know what that does. Not one that comes up. Can't even type. Oh boy. Virtue of Confidence. Reroll failed rolls to hit in a challenge. That's interesting to have in a Paladin. Paladins have 3 attacks, just with the Lance. Yeah. I'm not necessarily sold that this is a worthwhile virtue. How many points was it, though, actually? 15 points? Yeah. If you've got 15 points left at the end, I don't hate that. Bowman, Knights of the Realm, Knights of the Realm, Knights of the Realm. So 3 small units instead of 2 bigger units. That does seem to be the 2 different ways that lists are built. And then 2 units of 3 Peg Knights with full command. I actually don't like command on Peg Knights unless you're running a big unit. I think Banner Musician's fine. Musician every time. Banner, if you don't mind the risk of them, giving up points, but I don't like the champion. I think it's too risky in terms of just getting challenged out when you charge something. And then you've got some Yeomen and some Squires. Yeomen are really nice because they've got reserve move inherently, I believe, which means that you put the level 4 caster in there. And then Squires, just having scouting chaff is nice. Can't argue with it. Pork Pie says, general tips for dealing with the Green Knight comes from Hills at this event. Yeah, I know. That's a real problem. I don't really know. I think you might be okay because you've got a lot of magical output. Oh no, you haven't got the Ogre Blade. Try and kill him on turn 5 if you're going try and kill him on the last turn of the game if you can. Otherwise, avoid him. You might be okay because you're quite a fast list. So just don't let him, be there. Feel free to flee from him. Obviously, you won't be able to flee with your frenzied units, which is a little bit of a downside for you. But he doesn't have Swift Stride, so he's not going to catch you super reliably, I think. Amun says, how is the Dark Elf going in testing? So I played 2 games with it. I won the first game against Lewis. I played quite poorly. I lost the second game massively to Beastman. I got Vile-Tided off the board. At both games, I feel like I played very poorly. Then I played into Orse's Bretonnians Exiles. Won that game, and in that game, something clicked. I just felt like I got the army. Felt like I played very well. Won that one, and then I played against Jack Allen, who is also a very solid player, and won that one as well with his game. So I'm feeling good about it. I think it makes sense to me. I'm not expecting to get big wins, but I think the list plays really well if you want to consistently win, 12-8. I think that's the strength of how the list plays. I'm not using the dragons aggressively all that much. I'm using them more as a bully threat. Edmund's list: Duke to Angry and Baron of the Hero. All right. Interesting choice. D. Obviously, we all know Bretonnians are French, so this should be Le. Ellie. I'm assuming there's some reason for D. Duke with the Sword of Heroes? No. This is not the one I'm thinking it is it? Sword of Heroes. It's probably got an apostrophe in it. Oh no, it's oh yes, yeah. Yeah, I hate this. I hate this loadout. This is not one that I like. So, Knightly Temper for the additional attacks and hatred, Sword of Heroes for the Monster Slayer and Killing Blow, Grommel Great Helm, Royal Pegasus. So this is just a worse version, in my opinion, of the Lance Duke who has Killing Blow and Monster Slayer anyway. You get additional attacks, you get Hatred, but you can't do anything other than go into units and fish for sixes. I don't like this at all. This feels... Again, I'm going to play Edmund. I'm going to lose 2 dragons to it. But like, it just doesn't feel like an efficient way to load out a character, because it's 400 points, 440 points. No, 411. But it's so single purpose. I don't love that. If the sort of heroes had any stats, like I hate this bit here. There's nothing in armor piercing, there's nothing in strength, there's nothing in special rules that matters. You don't even get Killing Blow. You just get Monster Slayer. And also, you get the 5 up to wound always, but you don't get the 5 up Monster Slayer. That's not... Yeah, I don't like this at all. You don't even get Killing Blow. Ugh. James Gascoigne exiles Green Knight, Baron, Outcast Wizard. Okay, so there's a Baron with Virtue of Heroism, Vulcan Horn, and Lance. Yep, and then there's the Baron with the Frontier Asks and Knight and Temper. I love this. This is great. Just a good loadout, and then a level 3 caster as well with Dark Magic. Yeah, going to be putting Battle Lust on a lot of stuff, I'm assuming. That's cool. I like that. 10 Knights of the Realm with the Banner of Shalons. I think that is reroll hits versus ranged weapons. It's either that or turn off their stand and shoot, and I can't remember which one it is. Turn off their stand and shoot. Okay, yeah, I really like this banner. I like it on a small unit of Peg Knights, but this is a great place for it as well. So there's a 10, there's a 6, there's a 10 Bowman, 6 Pegasus Knights. Ooh, oh, and double Bombard? All right, yeah, this list slaps. Interesting that there's no Vanguard banner in here. There's no BSB that's got it, is there? No. Interesting. Okay, this gives opponents a little more time to deal with it. Because there's double Bombard, you can play this unit quite a bit more cagely. You don't necessarily have to go full send with it, which is interesting. And then Tom Gold. So Tom is also one of the chaps in the Bretonnian group chat that I'm in. So Baron with Virtue of Heroism, Lucky Heirloom. So this is like really going for the I want to kill a dragon, but it's only 250 points, whereas the Duke was 411, so I like this a lot more. Baron with the Falcon Horn, the Frontier Axe, Virtue of Knightly Temper. You've seen it, you know it, you love it. Green Knight, Paladin with the BSB, Banner of the Lady's Grace. Again, for the same reason that Ramsey and Andy are taking it, really are worried about those Tomb Kings and Vampire Camp matchups. Mounted Knights of the Realm, ×2, Peasant Bowman, Pegasus Knights with the Banner of the Zealous Knight. That's the Vanguard banner, and then 3. Yep, this is a very honest, very straightforward Exiles list. Deploying the line, roll to go first, Vanguard forwards, well, in the other order. But yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense to me. Amun says, I've been having a great time with 1 dragon, loads of shades, testing 2 by level 2s with 3 spells and 1 extra range. Battle Magic and a level 4 with Elementalism pick spells. Okay, interesting. I think what I'm going to be changing over to is a level 4 on Pegasus, a level 2 on Steed, both Battle Magic, both with a near guaranteed chance of Pillar of Fire, and just a couple of Focus Familiars each. I think that'll be very strong. So we've done the main 3 there. I think Dwarves... no, Warriors of Chaos, that's the other one that Pip was saying there was a lot of armies. Let's have a quick look here. Warriors come out to play. I feel like the way that I'm doing this, where I'm just sort of like skimming past everything, it's almost guaranteed that I'm going to miss someone's list, and I'm really sorry if I do. But too late. I've gone past them now. Cool. So Richard Swallow has got a Chaos Lord with triple Favour of the Gods. Hell yeah. Crown of Everlasting Conquest. Is that the... That's the regen, right? That's the 35-point regen. Oh, it's still a 40-point regen. Okay. How much is the... Isn't the other regen just the same price? Gonna have to double check this one. So it'll be an enchanter. No, it's a talisman. Where have those talismans gone? Have I scrolled past them? Oh yeah, 45 points as opposed to 40. Okay. Whereas he's got... I don't like a giant blade. I don't think giant blade's a good item. I'm not sold on it. Especially on something as good as a Chaos Lord, who has like really genuinely good output. You'd be better off just with a flail, in my opinion. 3 Favour the Gods is nice. Level 4 Sorcerer, Grim... Oh, this is one of the new items. I do like the Grimoire, and I just need to remind myself which one it is. Because there's a lot of really good magic items in Chaos that came in the journal. Yeah, you know all 7, but you can only cast them equal to your level of wizardry. That's fine. That's not the one that I thought it was. I'd have just played for a talisman of... yeah, that's fine. Sparring Champion, Marcus Ench, Rod of the Damned. Yep, that's fine. Bunker of Chaos Warriors. Banner of Iron Resolve. I think that's the 75 point don't take leadership penalties. Oh no, Stubborn for 50 points. Okay, that's fine. Chaos Knights, Warhounds, Dragon Ogres. Okay, this is quite MSU, just big units that want to mess you up. Steve Peters, we've got Lord on... Oh, there we go. There's the dragon. I was missing the second line. Lord on Dragon with Biting Blade, Favour of the Gods, Mark and Nurgle, Lance. Yeah, so obviously can't use the Lance, so that's a waste. But the Biting Blade, I don't hate. It's really cheap. You know, you're Strength 5 already. That's pretty cool. Level 4 Arcane Familiar. I see. I'm not sold on the Arcane Familiar. Also, hasn't put which laws of Chaos he's got down, so he needs to fix that. 2 units of Warriors, 1 Nurgle, 1 Khorne, Marauders, Knights. Yeah, this feels more like a list of things that someone enjoys playing. That's cool. I like this list. I'm sure it'll be like a nice hobby project or like an old army that's been dug out of the loft or something like that. Looking forward to seeing that one. Kieran Sayers, Dragon Lord, Enchanting Aura, Crown. Yep, all of the good stuff there. Weapon, Great Weapon. Yeah, I quite like a Great Weapon on a Chaos Lord. You're going to survive to hit with it. Level 2, level 4, both battle magic, both with additional spells. Yep, that's fine. This is a bunker. It's kind of hard to talk about Chaos Warrior lists, honestly, because there's a lot of just kind of the same stuff. Like here we've got, we've got a dragon, we've got a regen, we've got... that's a mistake. Just a hand weapon? Pretty sure that's meant to have like a great weapon or something. But it doesn't, so just Strength 5 AP 1 at the moment. That's an odd choice. Especially because there's no shield. Is that an output error? Odd. Sorceress Lord on the Chariot. I like the Chariot Lord. It does mean you're more vulnerable to cannonballs, but I think it's cute. You don't get the +1 to cast, but you can easily get that Infernal Puppet into range, and Demonology is fine. 20 Marauders, 10 Knights. These are big units. Warpfire Dragon. Okay. Keith has got some big bricks. Dan we've looked at already, I believe. Yes, yeah, we looked at Dan's list earlier. And Andrew Simmons, Marcus Slanesh, Manticore, Ogreblade. This is interesting. This is like, I was going to say I don't like this, and then I looked at the points, and now I actually do like it. So this is just going to slap hard, I think. A Manticore, I believe, is T5, because it doesn't add any toughness, and a Chaos Lord is already T5. So, yeah, +4 wounds. So you're up to 8 wounds with T5, and just relying on your personal saves, which in this case is a 3-up save and a 5-up ward and an Ogreblade. Cool. This is going to slap. Manticore has Conditional Frenzy. So we've got here Willful Beast. You take a leadership test. If you fail, you become frenzied. So honestly, I don't mind that too much because you're going to have a decent leadership anyway. Leadership 9 on a Chaos Lord. Exalted Chariot, BSB on foot with a... with Enchanting Aura. I like the Enchanting Aura Mark of Slanesh combo. So you make them -1, make them in initiative 1. That gives them strikes last. They charge, they become initiative 4. Your initiative 4 on your Warriors of Chaos, you give them Marcus Slanesh. First round of combat, you get +1. So we're going to see here. Yeah, hell yeah. I really like this. Halberds, Marcus Slanesh. So that gives you your, however many attacks you've got in your front rank at strength 5, AP 1. And it's just fine. I think it's very expensive for what it does, but it's like a combo that makes sense to me. It's one of the ones that I was looking at the start of the edition when I was interested in, before I realised infantry just didn't do it. 12 Forsaken, that's a lot of Forsaken. And they've got Swift Stride here. Chosen with Slanesh. This is a lot of Slanesh. I'm not sure they needed to be Slanesh, but maybe it's just a case of a bit of a theme. Warpfire Dragon, not a caster. Cool. Like it. That is sweet. Right, I think I'm going to wrap up in a second. Any last requests for lists to have a quick look through? I absolutely can, Hendy. While I'm looking at that, anyone else got any requests for lists that they want me to look at? I can do that. So we have got here Beastman, Doombull, Black and Plate, Ogre Blade, Slug Skin. So this is a combination where it's going to go in a unit of Gores. Oh, that's not what I was expecting. Sorry, not Gores, Minotaurs. I guess it's a Minotaur Death Star. All right, I need to look at some rules here. I need to look at some rules. So we're going to go Banner of Outrage. What the hell does that do? Andy, I can look at the other Dark Elf list after this. You can re-roll your leadership test for Primal Fury. Just as a reminder, before you actually fight in combat, you get to re-roll 1s to hit, but then you combo that with Blood Rage. So Minotaurs with the Doombull. I don't know if Minotaurs have it inherently or if you need a Minotaur character, but they also become Frenzied, which is really solid. So you've got Hand Weapon Shield. I guess you're getting an additional attack. You're going to have 4, so you don't need that 5th attack. That is a big brick of Angry Cows. It absolutely is. Because you've got in there the Slug Skin, you've got the Ogre Blade, the Blackened Plate on a Doombull with a shield. So the Gorbull is Pelt of the Dark Young. That's the thing that I don't know. Pelt of the Dark Young and Pelt of Midnight. Let's have a look here. So the mutation, yes. So this unit is -1 to hit in the shooting phase against ballistic skill shooting. That's fine. It's a big Death Star, so you probably want that. Pelt of the Dark Young is improve their armor by 1 and also gets magic resist 2. So the unit gets magic resist 2. That's quite nice. Then if we look at the actual characters, you've got the Blackened Plate and Slug Skin. So the problem with Beastmen is I haven't looked at them enough to remember what the names of everything are. So I know the combinations, but it's just remembering which one's which more than anything else. So you get a full plate and plus a 3-up ward against flaming attacks, which is not, insignificant. And also enemy models that attacks this model gets -1 to hit. So it's not the full combo, because I believe there is one other piece, but it's a 3-up save Doombull with an Ogre Blade that's -1 to hit in combat. It's got magic resist 2 from the Pelt of something, Gnarled Hide. So it's just a really solid combination. It's going to be really hard to deal with this Doombull. The Gorbull's in there as well. You've got 2 big hitty characters. This is just Hand Weapon and Shield, but I believe it's got a rule where if it passes, it's not leadership test. If it passes, it's Blood Rage or whatever it's called. It gets AP2 on its hand weapons, so that's pretty solid. Got a level 4 on foot, Dark Magic, Hag Tree Fetish. Okay, interesting. I don't think this is the best loadout. I think Elementalism is better. And it's on foot as well, which is interesting. Oh, hell yeah. There's a second squad of Minotaurs. So there's a big brick. I guess that one of the characters goes in the big brick and one of the characters goes in the small brick. That's kind of cool. I like that. War Banner. Yeah, sweet. And then a Chaos Giant. I don't love the Giant. I'd like to see that replaced with a giant spawn, gigantic spawn, but it's probably hobby lag, a little bit of auto pick on all the combat heroes that you take. Yeah, I absolutely agree. Slug Skin is incredible. Cool. So we're going to look at the other Dark Elf list, who is Gwillem. So, Gwillem has got, and we'll start with the things I like. Level 4 level 4. Got a Dreadlord, which is full plate, Sea Dragon Cloak, Lance. I like the Lance. I went Great Weapon. I think both are fine. Pendant to Caleth for a 5-up ward or a 4-up ward in against Strength 5 or greater. 466 points. Really good stuff there. Then there's a level 4, Tome of Fury and Elementalism, which is interesting. I think Elementalism is really good. I was on the fence about whether I wanted to go Elementalism or Battle Magic. But this is good if you've got a lot of like low AP but high volume of attacks, which Dark Elves are pretty good at doing. Then there's a level 2 Focus Familiar, Lore Familiar Battle Magic caster, and this is to go turn 1 Pillar of Fire into your opponent's lines. There are 20 Witch Elves. I do not like Witch Elves. They have got the Banner of Harganeth for an additional pip of AP, and they're joined by a Death Hag with the Rune of Cain and the Ogre Blade. She just doesn't do it for me. Like, I feel like she's just going to get shot off the board. I guess if you play into like Bretonnians or something, they're not going to shoot you, but then they charge you and maybe challenge you out or something. Dark Riders, obviously I like those. Repeater Crossbows, I like. 7 Cold One Knights, hell yeah. Ruby Ring of Ruin, that's what I've gone with as well. Great Minds Think Alike. 8 Shades and 6 Harpies. Yeah, I like it. It's like a toolbox list, I think Gwillem described it as. It's solid. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm a bit disappointed that there's not that much variety here. There is a lot less variety than I'd like to see. A lot of the same armies, and then there's like one. I think is that one Lizardman army. Yeah, could do with a bit more variety, and also not super jazzed about the rules changes that they're putting in their FAQ, because they're not FAQs, they are rules changes. So thank you for joining me. I am going to end the stream here. I'm going to email in and say, please fix your rules. Hopefully we get an update on that one. But yeah, no hobby stream on Friday this week because I'll be traveling to LGT, but I'll put a video up on Friday, probably at 5 o'clock. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, do check out the Discord linked down below for Close Order. This is not a paid Discord. It is free, but there are some VIP sections if you want to engage in those as well. Huge thanks to the channel supporters. That is Old World Arena, Mechanite, Creekhammer, and most recently Ginger Steve at the Grail Knight tier supporters. Massive thanks to you. Really appreciate it. And also thanks again to Ginger Steve for these fantastic cameras making me look nice and sharp. Thanks as well to the Longbeard supporters. That is Voltan Ignato, Matthew Sinclair, more Robot Wars content, and the Winslow. And last but not least, thanks as well to the Fnatic tier supporters. Escape Velocity, Squig Herder Sean, the Grumpy Wargamer, Ook T, Gard Anderson, Ed M, Dowie After Dark, Existence UK, and Jan Gran. Really appreciate the support.